How do clocks communicate?
I remember you saying that. I don't remember the punchline though.
By talking to each other.
Yeah.
I can see by that joke, by your face, that joke ticked you off.
Oh,
you did.
That actually looks pretty good.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay, good. We're meeting somewhere in the middle.
Okay, if he wins a chip, and
I don't care about chips. I don't look at chips really that much.
Is that water or vodka in that boom cup? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The
giveaway.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the people what we're giving away, Charlie?
So we are giving away an.
All right, Brain. You don't like me and I don't like you. But let's just do this and I can get back to killing you with beer.
You are now tuned into the Better Fantasy Bureau podcast.
This place is an untapped resource.
I love it!
With your host, Flex and Bliss.
You must think I'm pretty stupid.
I'm dangerous. I'm very, very dangerous.
And Charlie Chase.
You're very good, You're goddamn right he is.
For the everyday fantasy sports player.
You just blew my mind.
Now, I am going to teach some kids a lesson.
They're a bunch of fucking amateurs.
And now, on with the show, Party People.
What's up, party people? Welcome back. Welcome once again. Back is the incredible I am your man, 50 grand Flex Hitless, here with my man, 100 years.
Charlie Chase, baby.
Charlie Chase, baby, and we're back again with another exciting episode of the Better Fantasy Bureau here at Gotham Podcast Studio.
Episode 06.
Episode 06.
It's going to be a good one, guys.
Well, it's going to be an episode. Good is yet to be determined, yet to be seen.
Oh, come on, Flex. They're all good. Don't be so modest.
Well, we'll see.
But football's back.
Football is back.
Football's back. Hall of Fame game tonight.
Hall of Fame game is tonight. That's always exciting to watch. No,
yeah,
that we're not watching because we're recording the show.
Yeah, the good thing is that there's going to be football every weekend between now and the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good.
And
yeah,
and you would love to see your Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Yeah,
I mean, look, I say that they're going to make the Super Bowl every year. One year I got to be right. So,
but you know they're not going to make it this year.
This is going to be ongoing for a while.
Come on, Charlie. You really think the Cowboys are going to make the Super Bowl this year?
Listen, what kind of fan would I be if I said they wouldn't?
Realistic fan. You because look, I'll tell you the same thing. Like as a Knicks fan, let's say like just to be even we're both Knicks fans. In my mind, we've won every NBA championship.
In your mind,
in my mind, you can't tell me wrong. In my mind, they won last year.
Yeah, I mean, look, between it's just as difficult being a Knicks fan as it is a Cowboy fan. Like the fan base is just yearning for that championship.
Right.
And the Knicks, I mean, they don't seem like they could get it right, but I think next year is going to be a big summer for them.
I think so. I mean, the rumors about saying they're going to get Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie wants to be here.
He wants to play here. Yeah, he does.
He wants to be here. New York City loves their point guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like it.
I'll tell you the truth. I'm happy with what Trey Burke did last year, and I always believe
Trey Burke's a good ball player.
Yeah, and I always actually believed that he had that potential. And then when he went to like the D League and they brought him back, I'm like, why don't they play him more? Because when he was in Utah, I liked him.
Yeah, he's like a poor man's Iverson.
Well, he looks.
No, but they have a similar game also. Undersized two guard that could shoot. Right. That's got a mean dribble.
I guess to put anybody in the category of Iverson though to say his name is.
That's why I said he's a poor man's Iverson.
I guess. Yeah. I guess. But so like I said, you can't tell me nothing. I think that they won everything. So I get it as a fan. Like last year, even people like, who are you going for? Who's going to win Super Bowl? I'm like the Giants. Mm-hmm. Even though they didn't, they were terrible, they were awful.
Right.
But I said they were going to win. I'm like, look, you can't tell me nothing. The Giants have won 50 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like they won over 50 Super Bowls already, and
they've won every single one.
Yeah.
In your mind,
are you saying they haven't?
They have not.
They have. Prove me wrong.
Because
no matter what facts you show me, I'm going to say up here. But realistically, of course, we get one more, we tie you guys.
So they're going to win this year. The Giants.
Realistically, as a Giants fan.
Yeah.
Tell
me realistically.
Realistically,
yeah.
I think we'll be we'll be contenders. I think we're going to be contenders.
Think the Giants win over or under 10 games?
10.
10?
If you want me to give you over under, I'll give you over. I'll say over.
Okay.
If you want to give me the over under.
Pretty ambitious, but all right, I'm not mad at you. Look, it's August. Everybody's hopeful in August.
Of course, yeah. That's as far as I'll say. Now, that's the realistic part of me.
Yeah.
The Giants fan of me is like,
they're going all the way.
Yeah, we're going to win 18 games and we only play 16.
Yeah.
But we'll win 18.
Yeah, but so football's back, and what do you think of this class? It's a pretty impressive class, the Hall of Fame class.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely, like they're impressive like every other like Hall of Fame class. But I mean,
Yeah, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens,
Moss. Did you
Brian
just
Urlacher.
come back from Boston?
Hell no.
You got Randy Moss.
Wash your mouth when you say that.
You're not even a Yankee fan. You can't hate Boston like that.
Nah. Yanks are playing Boston tonight.
I know they're winning right now currently at the
Yeah,
time.
3-0 DD with a 3-run shot.
Yeah. We're recording this right now. No, they're winning 4-1.
Oh, it's 3-0.
Last I checked at the bottom of the second. But we're recording this right now on August 2nd, Thursday.
Yeah.
So you get August 2nd. So yesterday, which I want to bring up big,
Mhm.
August 1st.
August 1st.
Yes. And I wrote this on my Instagram. If you don't see my Instagram, you can follow me on my Instagram at FLX Hitlist. Once again, I spell Flex FLX. So FLX Hitlist. And Charlie's yours is?
Charlie BNY.
Charlie BNY, right? So if you follow it, you see that like I put that this is living proof that God listens to the prayers in your head, because yesterday was National SpiderMan Day.
Yeah, I did see that.
August 1st. Yeah, so
I did see that.
that just shows you that God actually hears you in the prayers in your head, and he grants them every now and then. He makes them come true.
Mm-hmm.
That yesterday's National Spider-Man Day. And for those that you see on the YouTube, and please follow us on YouTube, just YouTube on our YouTube channel, Better Fantasy Bureau. It says Marvel Geek on my intro because I love Marvel, and I especially love Spider-Man. You can see now I came rocking my Spider-Man shirt.
Spider-Man out today.
Got my Spider-Man. I never wear snapbacks.
Yeah.
I never wear snapback, but my wife got me the snapback. You can see
You should, though. They don't look bad on you.
Charlie, I'm married. You can't be coming on to me like that.
I'm just saying. So, whoa.
I'm kidding with you. But anyways, but yeah, so like I'm just rocking out Spider-Man. I got my Spider-Man Spiro here. Do you know about this? I told you about this guy, but you never seen me.
He actually has a name.
Well, Spiro's the company that makes him.
Okay.
But this is obviously.
I thought he was like a Greek Spider-Man or something.
Greek Spider-Man. There sure is one somewhere in the Spideyverse. But this is actually pretty cool. Like, I mean, listen, my wife got me. My wife, and I guess every year I get something Spider-Man for my birthday, Christmas. So my wife got me this for my birthday this past year that just happened, where I turned 32. And I still get all this Spider-Man stuff. And this one's actually pretty cool. So if you go on YouTube, you could see this right here on the desk. And it interacts with you. Like, you can watch the Spider-Man cartoon. It tells you, like, really corny dad jokes. Mm-hmm. Like, I told you the jokes from it before?
You said a few of them.
Like, how do clocks communicate?
I remember you saying that. I don't remember the punchline, though.
By talking to each other.
Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't remember.
I can see by that joke, by your face, that joke ticked you off. It's like this corny. Like, another one is. I
hope they're giving you a sponsorship.
They're not, but they should. Like, what's another joke they give? And I crack up with him. He says, why should you never trust an atom?
Why, Flex?
Because they make up everything. It's so stupid. But he says
they're so bad they're funny.
I love him, and he makes like these eyes that glow in, and he shows like expressions with them. He actually like protects your room, so you want to get it for a kid. Like if he puts it on, like if you turn it on, somebody walks by him, he's like, "Hey, you!" and he shoots it all around, and it's actually really, really cool. It tells you, like, a little game tells you like what to draw on a piece of paper and try to guess what he's drawing. You got actions to make him do stuff. It's actually really cool. It actually really is really cool. So if you want to get a gift for your kid, I recommend getting the Spiro Spider-Man. The same people that make those BB-8 toys and those R2-D2 toys that I'm sure you don't know about that either, do you?
Nah. I told you, speaking another language.
I'm pretty sure you probably haven't seen the new Venom trailer, have you, right?
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
That actually looks pretty good.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay, good. We're meeting somewhere in the middle. You like it? What you thought?
Yeah,
The new one.
I mean, I think like it looks pretty cool.
But the most recent one where you see actual Venom.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know the backstory behind it, but from just a movie point, it does look kind of cool.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I know you don't know the backstory. I mean, they're the symbiote's something. I forgot which comic books version they're going with, but they're going with the version of the comic books where he is based in San Francisco, and the movie is also based in San Francisco. I forgot which version. I'll find it out. I'll look it up another time. But yeah, it's where Venom is still a bad guy, but he fights other symbiotes.
Right.
And that's what he has. That's what the whole thing of Venom is a symbiote, and he fights other symbiotes, and it looked awesome.
Yeah. I'll probably go to the theater for that one.
I thought it was a little
my one Marvel movie a year.
That's if that one. Well, yeah, because that one's not really part of the MCU, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because it's a Sony movie in association with Marvel, but it's really a Sony movie because Sony's had rights to Spider-Man and they sold it to Marvel, which is owned by Disney, And so they're making like kind of like their spin-off because so they're making another one called Black and Silver with Black Cat and Silver Sable. I know you have no idea who they are, Charlie.
You're talking another language right now.
But they're making what?
But yeah, I mean,
it looks awesome, that trailer, though. I mean, I didn't like too much at the end how he's talking. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, the Venom trailer. The second one's out now. I see a lot more Venom, and they really sharpened up his look in the CGI. Like, they added the white veins as opposed like to the big white spider symbol on him, and maybe it'll come out more. But, I mean, me as a Marvel geek, there's some things that make me a little iffy about the movie as a Marvel geek. I'm not going to get too much into it now because we're a fantasy sports podcast. But still.
Are we at the right podcast?
I get excited when I talk to
I
Marvel.
know, I could tell.
You see how my wife has to be patient with me. Really, baby. I understand. Like I'm always explaining. Sometimes he thinks it's cool, like the little facts I give her, but sometimes I go too much with it.
Yeah, I could tell.
I express it.
I feel her.
But listen, Spider-Man's a big part of my life, and the National Spider-Man.
No, I totally get it.
But I told you yesterday what I wanted to do for the show since it was National Spider-Man Day and I was in a good mood.
What?
I told you yesterday what I wanted to do today, right? What we're doing today, Charlie? We're doing our first giveaway.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The
giveaway.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the people what we're giving away, Charlie?
So we are giving away an authentic autographed Le'Veon Bell jersey.
Really, actually autographed. Real autographed jersey. If you look on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Charlie. Tell them what I'm doing because I'm far away from the mic.
So Le'Veon Bell, autographed Le'Veon Bell jersey. We're gonna give that away to a random person that either leaves a comment or a like on our page. And we'll pick one before the end of preseason, and we'll give that away.
Yeah, not so much just on but not just on our page, like on our YouTube page. But you have to subscribe and
subscribe.
Comment. So what it is that we're gonna randomly pick and like are sort of like raffle off, and to give you more chances for the raffle. We'll even show like the random raffle that we pick to give you more chances. Make sure you subscribe to us on Google Play, on iTunes, anywhere that we show
all
our
the
podcast,
platforms.
All the platforms, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, CastBox, all these other places. Subscribe to us and leave us a comment. Rate us, leave us a comment.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Leave a comment so we could pick from the comment box.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell so you know when we get a new video every time. You know, I do a lot of work on the editing. I know it's real amateurish, but I'm also amateur flex. But it's like
amateur flex.
I do a lot of work on all that. So look at the YouTube channel and leave us a comment. So if you leave us a comment on iTunes, on Spotify, on Google Play, and leave us the comment on YouTube, that's just more chances of your name being recognized to be picked at random, to be put into a raffle. So like that's more chances of you being picked out. So, and this is absolutely free. This is really, really signed, authentic Le'Veon Bell jersey. I have the certificate of authenticity. I have it. You can look it up online. You can bring it to the store. It is an actual, real signed jersey, really signed by Le'Veon Bell. And if you see on YouTube, so like I said, go on YouTube, check us out. Better Fantasy Bureau on YouTube. It's not even opened. It's not even open. It's still sealed. I haven't even opened it yet. It's got, it's letter of authenticity and everything. So everybody is welcome to subscribe to it, to try to win it. So leave us comments and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, our YouTube channel. The more places you subscribe, the more comments you leave, the more chances you will have of winning. Repost our picture on your Instagram.
Yeah. That counts.
Take a screenshot of our logo or one of our whatever we post on our Instagram page at BFB Podcast. Repost that. Retweet us all the time. Keep tweeting about us as a Twitter at Podcast BFB. Whatever it is you want to do to get us, to get you recognized by us, keep doing that, and we'll pick at random. You get a Le'Veon Bell jersey. This is our first. This is only our first one out of many that we plan to do throughout the year.
That's a cool gift.
I think it's a great way to start off.
Yeah, you get that frame. That's a nice piece for the man cave.
Oh, yeah. I mean, also, any birthdays or for your dads or for your, like you said, man cave or whatever it is. But it's absolutely, no cost. You won't pay nothing. We're giving you a Le'Veon Bell jersey. It's right here. That's from us at the Better Fantasy Bureau. I think it's a good way to start off with Le'Veon Bell.
Absolutely. Bell, one of the best players in the league. Why not?
Yeah, we got a couple of autographed jerseys that we want to give away, but that's how we're going to start off our first one.
Cool.
And that's all because I was really happy about National Spider-Man Day.
Yeah. I could tell by that rant that you went on before.
Like my wife gets me everything Spider-Man. It's like another one of my big loves is Chinese food. I know you know that. I love Chinese food. Like if I was on death row, my last meal would be a boneless spare rib combo, without a doubt. I love Chinese food. And my wife for my birthday got me chopsticks, but because I'm always eating with chopsticks all the time. And on the chopsticks, it says, one of it says Flex Hit List and the other one says Party People, but it's in the font from the Spider-Man movies of Tobey Maguire and has a little Spider-Man logo at the end of it.
So she combined the two things that you love.
Absolutely.
How thoughtful, Anita.
Absolutely, yes. And I use it all the time as much as I can. I use it like even now that I'm on the keto diet, I still try to eat things with chopsticks. So kind of like, I guess, because I get cravings for Chinese food.
Do you eat pizza with your chopsticks?
No. I'm not like a whole slice. Come on, Charlie.
I'm just asking.
I know I'm not that smart, but give me some credit, all right? Like, but you know, if like sometimes like hard boiled eggs I've chopped up, I'll eat them with chopsticks. You know what I mean? We made meatballs the other day. You know, like I'll eat them with chopsticks.
With the chopsticks, that doesn't get messy.
No, I'm professional.
I don't know.
I get like a whole pint of rice.
You're talking to a Sicilian. Picture me trying to eat meatballs with chopsticks with a meatball. Or meatballs.
I mean, if you want to eat meatballs with a chopstick, that's on you, Charlie. Whatever.
You know what I meant.
Charlie, I'll never hit you, man, so knock yourself out. You know what I mean, brother?
Anyways,
let's
get back to this game. What are you looking for tonight? Is there anything in particular that's you're looking to stand out?
Not really.
I mean, I know it's the first preseason game, but
not really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Not really.
I want to see Jackson a little bit.
I'm mainly what I'm looking for is any kind of injuries or anybody gets hurt.
Yeah.
Because we already have a substantial amount of things that are going on in the news.
Well, the starters are probably not going to play that much, I don't think.
Well, even if anybody else on defense gets hurt, like we had somebody from the Titans just got hurt. One of their safety, I forgot which one he won. One of the safeties got hurt. So like, you know, like their defense wasn't that great to begin with. That makes their defense even a little bit, the secondary a little worse. So I guess that's what you really, really look out for fantasy wise, is kind of injury wise and what hurts. Like Jordan Matthews is a big one.
Yeah.
Significant injury that he's not released. He's not there no more. Yeah. Eric Decker got signed.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You're still going to win that bet.
I think I'm
looking
good with that bet.
I'm not backing out of it because of the fact that, you know, bet was a bet. We weren't clarified. We weren't clear. We didn't state at the beginning if there was no injuries.
Right.
You know, same thing. Like
we'll revisit it before week one.
Well, we're gonna look into what else? Josh Doxson got hurt too. He left. He left, and not sure about how serious it is. All we know is that he left training camp. Doug Baldwin is going to be out for the majority of the off season. I mean, the preseason, pretty much all the preseason.
Yeah, it's unclear though what's going on with that though.
It is unclear. They said that he still might play, but it's still. They need to know that he's out the whole preseason. I mean, you know, it's so depleted with.
Well, he stays in shape. I don't know if I'd be too concerned there.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not too
but
concerned.
We'll see how like the summer progresses.
Another injury to concern, not so much injury concern. Also sticking with the Washington Redskins, but Chris Thompson says he might not even be 100% until November. He's still going to play.
Yeah,
but he's saying that he might not be 100% until November.
Yeah, that bodes well for your guy.
Oh yeah, I mean my guy was going to bode well no matter what. Darius guys.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you know, with Thompson taking less touches out of that offense, it definitely bumps him up a little bit in my book.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie. So what do you say you and I keep going on with the rest of the segments of the show?
Yeah. One thing that we should talk about, though, before we move on, did you see what LeBron did? I think that we should at least mention that a little bit.
The I Promise School?
Yeah.
It's dope. That was dope.
Come on, I mean, that's a big move. I mean, the guy opened up a school.
It's nothing wrong with that. I think it's fantastic, really. I guess do we have to touch about it? Because I know a million people have already seen that post of him holding which looks like super small, the microphone in his hand,
right? And
everything the school does, like free.
No, but I think the reason why I just want to touch about it. Number one is like one of the biggest stories in sports, so we should at least touch on it for a minute. But the interesting thing that I've been seeing this week is that what do you think this does for the GOAT conversation? That's an interesting thing.
Nothing.
You don't think it does anything?
Nothing.
So everything that he does, like away from the basketball court, that shouldn't.
Well, he's never been in the news ever in general for anything bad like that, and nobody's ever.
No. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that MJ didn't really have this reputation of being a philanthropist, giving back to the community. So does that factor in? Because I'm seeing that a lot of people saying that this factors into it.
No, I think the only people that would be saying that are two kinds of people. One, LeBron James fans who are always making a case for LeBron James.
Right.
And two, people that just don't follow basketball. They just knew Jordan was the greatest of all time. And now people that maybe LeBron is, LeBron. Because if you've known Michael Jordan for the most part, people know Michael Jordan more than they do LeBron James, at least people of our generation.
Yeah. But I think people that don't, it's people that have, and again, I'm not saying MJ's not the GOAT.
Right. No, I get it.
But that's a different conversation. But it just seems like it's just an old school way of thinking that, that MJ is automatically the GOAT. It's like the baseball purists. They have Babe Ruth as the GOAT, no matter what. And, Babe Ruth played, decades and decades ago. So it's a similar, comparison. Like, are you a big boxing fan?
No.
All right, so I think the best boxer of all time is Floyd Mayweather, right? But I speak to a lot of old heads, and they say that Ali's the GOAT because of what he did away from the ring, like all that he did for civil rights, for everything that he embodied. So, to me, it's Floyd because I saw Floyd in real time, but, you could make an argument for Ali because of everything that he stood for,
Now, me being not a big boxing guy, I make the case for either one of them being the greatest of all time. I still have a hard time deciding who's better because I saw more Tyson's fights once than I did Ali fights once.
I said Mayweather.
I know you said Mayweather, but
Right.
you're saying because people say Muhammad Ali because of what he did outside.
Yeah.
So I'm touching on that.
Right.
But I'm saying I think between Tyson and Ali are the greatest of all times. I make the argument for Mayweather as well. But as a person who doesn't follow boxing, what Ali did outside the ring has nothing to do with my decision about him being one of the best of all time.
Right. Yeah, no, I get it, but there's like a lot of people that are.
It shouldn't. A person's character should have nothing to do with their skill on the court as being rated as the greatest of all time.
Yeah, but I don't see it. Like, you have to factor it in a little bit.
No, why? Why?
I mean, look, it's a different conversation, and we would need a podcast just for that. But it's just interesting, like on talk radio,
Mayweather,
what we've been seeing this week.
Mayweather. A lot of people don't think he's the greatest because he's so arrogant.
Right, but
because that's his character.
Right.
But that's the only reason why, because people just generally don't like him.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, no one's really going to look like, oh, he's a good person that makes him the GOAT.
Right, no, but I'm just talking strictly his boxing skills. Like his boxing skills
are
the
I'm saying the
ever.
argument you're trying to make is that does LeBron James now push him up as the GOAT to some people because of what he does off the court? And I say it shouldn't. And I don't think it does. And if it does, I think it is only the people who love LeBron James and want to make more cases for him, or that don't follow back. Oh, LeBron James is really good. Okay, yeah, he's the best because I love what he did.
Yeah,
and that's people who don't follow basketball. I don't think any other way it should. Once again, LeBron James is the greatest basketball player right now in the world. But
where do you have him
as all time?
Yeah, well, all time. Where do you have him?
Top 3, top 5.
Okay, if he wins a chip,
I don't care about chips. I don't look at chips really that much because if I look at chips, and the greatest basketball player of my generation is Robert Horry. So it's true. I don't look at chips. I really don't look at chips like that. I don't look at chips too much like that because to me the greatest power, Karl Malone's one of the greatest power forwards. I think the greatest power forward of all time is Tim Duncan.
Right.
But Karl Malone is also one of the greatest power forwards, and he never got a chip.
Yeah.
Who else? Arguably, Patrick Ewing is one of the greatest centers of all time. Arguably, I don't think he is at all. But he never got a chip. Allen Iverson never got a chip. There's a bunch of players. Charles Barkley's also great, and he never got a chip. Yeah. So I don't really look at chips too much.
Yeah, but none of those players are in the GOAT conversation, though.
As in their position.
No, but I'm talking about overall.
Right, no, overall, I get it, but it's just like if
the thing with LeBron is that, like, look, I mean, anyone that knows me knows that I'm a big Kobe fan. So I still don't have LeBron ahead of Kobe or MJ, but I got to say, though, he's gaining, man. And if he wins a chip with the Lakers, that's going to be big.
I think chips is just the easiest cop-outs. Don't get me wrong, it's a great staple in a person's career because that's what they want to do is get it.
It's the first thing people point to, though.
Yeah, of course they do because it's the easiest way to make a debate. It's the easiest way to make a debate. And like I always say, if you want to talk chips, then Robert Horry is the greatest player of our generation.
Yeah, but Robert Horry wasn't the guy on his team, though. He just made a whole bunch of big shots.
Not going against what I said.
Yeah.
If you want to make the argument to beat chips, then Robert Horry is one of the greatest of our generation because he's got so many rings.
So then, by those measures, then Bill Russell is the GOAT.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
that's why I don't like to use it because basketball is a team sport. Like I said about the Detroit Pistons before, that they, with Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton, that team, they were so dominant at their spot, and none of them were the best in their positions. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I say basketball is a team sport, so I don't like to make chips and championships as, like, the staple to represent what the player could do and what is capable of. Because John Stockton was also an amazing point guard. He never got a chip.
Never got a chip.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, but moving on, because we got to get back into the show. We
back to football.
We got to get back into football. So, let's go on with
give them what they came for.
No, but
football.
They're probably enjoying that little banter we had. But anyway, so to talk about fantasy football to give you the advice. So let's start off with the first segment because today is our quarterback show. So we're going to be talking quarterbacks, which is so many quarterbacks out there. But let's start off with our first segment, which we're calling Baby Come Back. You ready to start this?
That sounds like a good one.
Baby, come back. Any kind of fool could see there was something in everything about you.
Nice track selection, Flex. I could see your DJ talents coming through.
By player, a little drop by player coming in. All right, so what this is basically saying is that these are players that we liked last year who...
My blood's already starting to boil, but go ahead.
Who didn't do well last year. But we still want them to be on our team this year. We still want, you know what, come back to us to be the player that we thought you were going to be. And this year, hopefully, you're going to do it because last year we thought you were going to be a good player. You ended up not being a good player. And it's funny because we're talking about Player, and the band that made that song is called Player. But it's just
a little double entendre.
No pun intended. I just realized all that. So then this is the, baby, come back. Like, come back to my team. We'll give you another shot. I still need you, still want you, still going to help me win a chip. So I'll start it off. So one player that I want to talk about is Jay Ajayi.
Jay Ajayi.
And as you saw it also for you guys that are following us on our Instagram, once again, at BFB Podcast, you can see on the screen our Instagram, our Twitter, and our phone number. But so I put the post up, can you trust Jay Ajayi as your RB1? And for everybody that votes, just so you know, we're keeping track, not so much, but we're keeping track of what the majority of people are saying. I'm keeping track of it. So at the end of the year, I can see, look, most of the people said this, and we're going to see if most of the people were right or wrong. And I'm also keeping track of what you and I answer to see who knows more, the Giants or Jets fan. And I'm keeping track of all that.
The Jets fan? How dare you?
Excuse me. Cowboys fan. Pardon me. I apologize. My bad.
Oh, my God. I almost jumped over this table. What's wrong with you?
Giants or Cowboys fan. Pardon me. My bad. So we're going to see who gets more calls right. Besides the big effing bets we make, I'm going to see when we post a lot on our story, we post a lot of polls, who got more polls correctly to see who knows.
So far, the crowd's been with me, I got to say.
So far. So that we're gonna see, it's all about the end game.
We have a lot of smart listeners.
So talking about Jay Ajayi, so one thing about Jay Ajayi, last year, his ADP was 202. He was going as running back 7. He ended up as running back 36. Terrible. Names like Isaiah Crowell, Theo Riddick, Lamar Miller. All those guys did way better than Ajayi with total points last year at the end, okay? Now, it was an ugly start to the season. I don't know if you noticed, but he averaged only 9.6 fantasy points a game with the Dolphins. And this isn't PPR. This is the format we do. Full PPR, 12-team league. That's how we do our stats. And he only averaged 9.6. with the Dolphins. And when he went to the Eagles, it's not like he did much better fantasy-wise. He only averaged 10.2. But this is where the difference lies. This is where the difference is. And this is why I'm saying, baby, come back for Jay Ajayi. Come back to the team. Because I think he's going to have a complete 180 year for the better. I still want to draft him. I would trust him as the RB1 for my team. And the thing is, because on the Dolphins, they gave him so many chances. He averaged 19.7 attempts per game. And he only had a terrible, with those 19.7 attempts, he had a terrible 3.1 yards per carry. That is awful. With the Eagles, though, he had way less attempts. He only averaged 10 attempts per game, but he had 6.3 yards per carry. Yeah. That's more than the guy who led the league, Alvin Kamara, and he only had 10 points per game. 10 attempts per game.
Big difference in that offensive line.
Huge. They remember Pro Football Focus rate them as the best offensive line last year, and this coming season they rate him as the #1 offensive line this year as well. And I know that some of those yards he went to were for, very long distances, but he did the same thing with the Dolphins 2 years ago as well. He ran for those long distances. It's what he could do.
Yeah.
And, he has injury concerns and, but remember the Dolphins were one of the worst offenses in the league last year. And they were also the highest pass percentages of any other team in the NFL last year as well. So they had to play a lot from behind. He's not like your premier pass catching back. Corey Clement's going to be there for the team. They got Darren Sproles back healthy. But with LeGarrette Blount gone, Jay Ajayi seems to be the guy that's going to kind of like take over the lead back role. He's going to get a lot more attempts behind that great offensive line. Like I said, he averaged 6.3 yards per carry, and I just see him doing that all over again. I see him getting more of the goal line work with Blount gone, and with all those factors in there, I'm asking Jay Ajayi to once again be back on my team. And I think he's going to have a way better season. Yeah. They're way better fit for him in Eagles.
He's going 4.04 in a lot of drafts. There could be a lot of value there.
If you look at my mock draft show, last year, if you look at my mock draft show, I went wide receiver heavy on purpose because my theory is that I tell people don't get scared if you don't get a running back in the first 2 rounds. Don't be scared. There's still lots of decent, good running backs to have on your team that could still get you more than enough points. And I went with Antonio Brown, Devontae Adams, and T.Y. Hilton, and Jay Ajayi was my back.
Yeah.
I started back, and
you're good with that.
I think so. I trust him. I know you trusted. You agree
I
with
like
me on
Ajayi.
that.
I like Ajayi this
You
year.
trust him as RB1. I know Brandon Ferguson, my boy B Ferg's going to be another guest on the show coming up. He trusted also Gotham Podcast Studios also on Instagram. Trusted him. My wife trusted him, but my wife trusted him for a funny reason because when she first saw his name Jay Ajayi, she read it as Jay Ajayi. Jay Ajayi.
Enough of a reason.
She's gonna be mad that I said that. But yeah, so Jay Ajayi, I'm gonna say
You want Jay to come back.
baby comeback.
All right.
All right, so who's your baby comeback this year?
I think you know.
I do know because you told me
I think
before the
you
show,
know.
Charlie.
Yeah.
It's not,
But anyone that's been listening to the pod and anyone that I've played with last year knows that I was really, really bullish on Mike Evans last year. And a lot of people were. He was everyone's fantasy darling last year. And boy, did he lay an egg. So his stats from last year, he was targeted 135 times, caught only 71 passes for 1,000 yards, barely got 1,000 yards, 1,001, and a putrid 5 touchdowns.
he really got 1,001 yards?
1,001 yards.
Because I know he's averaged 1,000 yards the past 3 years, but last year he got 1,001?
Yeah, 1,001
Wow,
yards.
Just, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, I really didn't know that.
So he drove me crazy last year. Like I had him in multiple leagues. I played a ton of him in daily because he just had these insane matchups every single week, and he just did not deliver. The first couple of weeks of the season he wasn't bad, but from week 8 on he was terrible. Only caught 1 touchdown after week 8.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, the guy is 24 years old. He's going to be 25 before the season starts. 6'3", 230 pounds. He's a red zone nightmare. Now, in his first 4 years in the league, or I'm sorry, let me backtrack that for a second. So before turning 25, there's only been 3 receivers in the history of the game that have caught 300 passes, amassed 4,500 yards, and 30 touchdowns, all before the age of 25. Now, one of them is Mike Evans. Do you want to guess who the other 2 are?
No. For the sake of not sounding wrong. You're on a roll right now. You're doing really well, so let me not mess it all up. Keep going.
No, so Randy Moss.
Moss?
Moss.
Again with this Boston stuff.
Randy Moss. And Larry Fitzgerald. So he's in great company.
Yeah.
Those are the only 3 players in history that have amassed those stats.
Wow.
So here's the thing. He's projected for 160 targets this year.
Uh-huh.
So if he gets that type of workload, I see him, getting back to the old Mike Evans. Now, for the first 3 weeks of the season, famous Jameis is not there. We got to keep that guy away from Uber drivers and crab legs. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, he actually does better without Winston under center. And
Okay.
the numbers kind of shocked me a little bit. He averages 16.1 points a game without Jameis Winston, and 15.6 with him under center. So, look, the first 3 weeks, Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be under center. One thing we do know is that he likes to
out 4
sling
weeks?
it. No, 3 weeks, I think.
Well, one or the other.
Yeah, 3 or 4. But even 4 would be even better. So, Mike Evans, I'm still a little nervous. But you know what? I always bet on talent, and the talent's there. So, Mike Evans, just come back.
Just come back.
Just come back, man.
just come back.
I
to
don't
me.
know if I'll go like on every team with him like I did last year, but I'll take him, on 1 or 2 teams, because depending, he's going 3.01, his average ADP.
Yeah, he's going towards the end of the beginning of the 3rd, end of the 2nd.
Yeah, so I mean, for me to get WR1 production there potentially.
No, absolutely.
I'm on board.
By the way, Jameis Winston is suspended only for 3 games, so you're correct on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him last year too, and he also disappointed me. I remember that 1 week.
He was going on certain drafts last year as high as 1.03
Yeah, it's crazy.
last year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Insane.
I took him mostly around like 7th pick where I got him a lot of times last year. But I remember they had like
and like the other thing. I'm sorry, Flex. I don't mean to
that?
cut you off, but I watched a lot of him last year, and he seems like he's one of those players that if he's not getting the ball like early in the game, he mentally checks out. And you kind of he's a young player, so you could kind of sort of see that. But if he could get it together, big numbers for him this year.
Well, because he also believes, and I think talent-wise, he could have the potential to be there, but he's not one of the considered to be the best wide receiver in the game. But he believes he is. When you hear about the best wide receivers in the game,
But I like that though.
you hear Odell, Julio, and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
That's when you think of the best wide receivers in the game. And he's mad that I know, not going to say so much mad, but I know he feels a certain way that his name is not brought up in that conversation.
Right.
Because he feels like he is. And you got to feel like you are.
Yeah, you got to feel like you are every Sunday.
But you also got to show us that on our fantasy team.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah, so Mike Evans, come back.
Come back.
Who else you got?
So sticking with wide receivers, come back. I talked a little bit about him last week's show because I drafted him on purpose in the third round. Come back for me, T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y.
I've always been a fan of T.Y. Hilton, and I took him many drafts towards the in the second round sometimes in the end of the second because I had early picks, and I wasn't too crazy with anybody else there.
Yeah.
So I would take T.Y. Hilton with the hopes that Andrew Luck was coming back, and
Have you seen footage of Andrew Luck?
No, I haven't watched any footage of Andrew Luck.
He looks good, man.
Well, no, yeah, it's Andrew Luck, of course, and but it's what was I gonna say? I just kind of lost my thought. Okay, so but Andrew Luck, but he hasn't played a game in a couple of years in actual NFL speed, so it might be a little rusty.
Yeah.
But I trust.
Once you get hit, you don't know how that's gonna happen.
No, but T.Y. Hilton is a 4-time Pro Bowler here, right? He entered the same year as Andrew Luck. And now, real quick, funny story about Andrew Luck, the night he was drafted. So I was at a bar in the city called Irish Exit. It was Thursday night because they used to have it every year, Radio City Music Hall, all the drafts here in New York. They used to have it every year here, and I was in a bar Irish Exit. I went with a couple of my friends, my boy K-Mac, who's a great big listener to the show, big fan of the show, and shout out to K-Mac, my boy Keith Murray. A couple of us went out there.
Not the rapper.
Not the rapper. No, Keith Murray, not the rapper.
I want to make sure.
No. It's Murray time though. That's my boy Keith Murray. We went out there, and Andrew Luck walked in. And this is when he got drafted as the number 1 overall pick.
This was on draft night.
This was on draft night.
Okay.
Our number 1 pick, Andrew Luck, walked in. Now, we're all from Woodside. Most of us are all just big sports guys pretty much, especially all my friends. Nobody knew who he was. We all knew, like, yo, that's Andrew Luck. That's Andrew Luck. But the thing was, at the time, we were at the bar with our friend Kevin Clifford, who's this really tall white guy, and a lot of people call him Steve Novak. He's a basketball coach, Kevin Clifford, K. Cliff, and people think Steve Novak, but people really thought he was Steve Novak. People were taking pictures with him. People coming up to me like, yo, is that real Steve Novak? Yeah, we grew up playing ball together the whole time. They really thought it was Steve Novak. But at the bar, they're showing highlight clips of the Knicks playing the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. So I'm like, yeah, what happened was Steve Novak got on a flight, came here half an hour, and they dropped him off right on 2nd Avenue to come into Irish Exit, and he's hanging out
drinking with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, but Andrew Luck, nobody was paying attention to him. They're all paying attention to Steve Novak. So we all made our jokes, and because it was dollar beer nights, the little like plastic cups of beer, and Steve Novak, Kevin Cliff is smashing beers on our head. It's like just smashing the beers on our head, and they really thought it was him. They're taking pictures, and they really thought it was him, and nobody recognized it was Andrew Luck. It was hilarious that night. We had a great time. But anyways, so talking about Andrew Luck, one thing about him, when he plays, his wide receiver 1 on his team, an average ends up as wide receiver 11, okay? So Reggie Wayne ended up as wide receiver 10 in Andrew Luck first year. And then Hilton's gone up every single year after that. Hilton went from being wide receiver 18 in 2013. So in the next year, he went from wide receiver 18 to wide receiver 12. In 2016, his best year, he was wide receiver 5. The wide receiver 2 in Colts offense with Andrew Luck, they fade away. They end up on average as wide receiver 57 when Andrew Luck's under center.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, so he's a trust guy, and he feeds his number 1. Like when T.Y. Hilton was number 5, wide receiver 5 that year in 2016, he was 4th of all wide receivers in targets and 1st in receiving yards. So, unfortunately, T.Y. Hilton is very Andrew Luck dependent because it's not like Jacoby Brissett can make a start to somebody. You know what I mean? It's kind of like with Jordy Nelson, how he lost his stardom with Brent Hundley under center. So it's like, but Andrew Luck looks like he's going to play. We still don't know, but for right now, we feel like he's going to play. And if he does, T.Y. Hilton could 100% be a top 10 wide receiver without
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The guy's a beast. The guy's a stud. The guy's got speed. He's got
talent's
great
there,
hands.
and you have, arguably one of the best quarterbacks throwing you the ball.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm on board that T.Y. Hilton. To me, baby, come back.
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton.
I like T.Y. this year.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of T.Y. All right, party people. So on right now to quarterbacks. QBs, which is the big discussion that we have. QBs. Who you want to go first, you or I?
Go ahead, Flex.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to start off with, QBs, I mean, what we were doing before, if you listen to the other shows about wide receivers, and I didn't set up a draft for QBs, whatever, sue me. So then, but if you listen to the other shows, the running back show and the wide receiver show, the way we kind of did it was per every 2 rounds and their ADPs. Just so if you want to know where we get our ADPs from and where we trust is fantasyfootballcalculator.com. They're great with the ADPs. And you could do if you're in half-point PPR, if you're in a non-PPR.
Right, customize it.
Customize it any way you want. It will show you on average where people are taking these players. So that's where we get like our ADPs from that we follow it. So with quarterbacks, they're kind of all sporadically thrown around that we're just going to kind of pick out quarterbacks we want to talk about. And there's so many of them. There's so many quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of broke it down by tiers, but I mean, go ahead. Who's someone that stuck out to you?
So one guy that I want to kind of talk about, which I guess is a question on a lot of people's minds, which is the main reason why I want to touch about him, is Carson Wentz. Now,
this is interesting.
Yeah, so for me, I will not, especially now, and more than likely for the whole season.
6.12 is average ADP. Sorry.
Yeah. No. So, but I will more than likely not be taking Carson Wentz in any drafts because he has too much range of outcome. There's too much unknown about Carson Wentz. He could end up being not only the best best quarterback this year, but just the best player in fantasy overall. All right.
Yeah, he's got that much upside.
Yeah, and he could also end up just being not
middle
playing.
of the pack,
and not playing because he's coming off an ACL and LCL tear.
Yeah,
the Eagles are slowly bringing him in. He participated on 11s, but he has not been cleared for contact yet, and he was held out this week of team drills for the 3rd consecutive session.
And the fact that Foles balled out last year, they may not be in a rush to bring him back.
Right, 100%. They're gonna take every precaution to not rush him in the Eagles, and
that's their franchise. They're not, if he's not right, he's not going to be on the field.
But this is the thing that I talk about Carson Wentz, that even if he does come back 100% healthy, it's not like and he plays week 1 under center. It's not like you're getting a steal for him in the 6th round.
Yeah,
it's not like like late 6th, early 7th. It's not like you're getting a steal.
Right.
Now, like I said, don't get me wrong. He is fantastic, Carson Wentz, all right? Only Deshaun Watson averaged more fantasy points per game than him. That's the only quarterback to do it. But even if you take Deshaun Watson out of the equation because he got hurt and was out for most of the season, then Carson Wentz was tied with Russell Wilson for 21.7 fantasy points per game, all right? Alex Smith was behind them with only 1 less point with 19.7. So he could definitely 100% be like the best player in fantasy. But like I said, when you're getting him at that 6th round, it's not like you're getting a steal of him. Like I remember I said last year because Andrew Luck was looking to be out about 3 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks was the determination about him coming back on week 5. So you were getting him about 10th round. To me, that was a steal. When he comes back healthy, you're getting Andrew Luck at the 10th round. I thought it was a steal. It was all just a matter of fact about getting that quarterback to replace him for that couple of weeks. I mean, he ended up never coming back, but I spent the 10th round pick on Andrew Luck, so it didn't hurt me. It didn't hurt my team. You're spending a 6th round pick on him.
That's a core, part of your team, that 6th round
your
pick.
6th round could be your flex, your starting tight end, or your first
WR2,
your first bench player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're looking at about like 3 running backs and then like maybe like 3, or your 2 wide receivers, whatever it is. It could be your tight end, your flex, or your first bench player.
Right.
So that to me could really hurt your team if you spend that high on Carson Wentz and then you end up not using him. So it's just too much rate of outcome. If you want to be a gambler and you want to take him, you could potentially have the best player. But like I said, it's not like you're getting him at a steal for that price that you're paying for him.
Yeah, and he's going in the mix with Drew Brees, Cam Newton, Kirk Cousins. I mean, to me, like Newton's the class out of that group, in my opinion.
I have some things to say about Newton later, but Newton's another guy that I want to talk about. But I like Newton.
Yeah.
This year more than any other years. But so yeah, like I said, Carson Wentz, I am more than likely not taking him because we're not going to find out anything till like the day before the season starts. We're not going to really find out much more. So
so a lot of risk there.
Yeah,
huge risk, huge reward. Yeah.
But like I said, with that price, I mean, you're getting what you pay for out of your wide receiver.
Exactly. Out of your quarterback.
Quarterback, excuse me. Yeah, I mess up this a lot of times. Sure, I wonder how many people catch my mess ups throughout the shows.
Is that water or vodka in that boom cup?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Gotcha. All right, Flex. So the way I'm looking at quarterbacks, I kind of like rate them on a tier basis.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the first tier, I'm seeing Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, and you could even throw Cam Newton in there if you want, for my opinion.
Right.
Now, I've looked at every major projection system that's out there, and all these quarterbacks are within a handful of points of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you know me, if anyone that's followed the show, I devalue the quarterback position. So the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going off the board at 311 is insane to me. And the reason why is because I don't think that the point differential is going to be that much significant between Rodgers and Brady, who's going at 6.02.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tom Brady could very well be the top scoring quarterback in fantasy this year, and it would not surprise anyone. It would surprise you if TB12 was the highest scoring.
I wouldn't shock me, but I think the chances of it happening are lower than other years, to be honest.
Yeah, but my point being is you put a 3-round value on that.
On Tom Brady?
No, on the difference between the two.
I don't put a 3-round value on any quarterback, to be honest with you.
Exactly. I look at it the same way. So, I mean, the thing with quarterback is that, to take Rodgers at 311 or instead of Brady at 6.02, I think you have such a better build just waiting on quarterback and taking that tier, at the end of that first tier. So I would be perfectly, happy with Russell Wilson, Tom Brady instead of Aaron Rodgers. Also, Deshaun Watson, he's the wild card here. Now he's going 4.12 in pretty much every draft. Is that worth the risk, in your opinion?
4.12?
4.12 is where he's going. No. Absolutely not, right?
No. But once again, all these quarterbacks for me are not worth the risk at any of those prices.
That's why the position is so devalued in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Then you go down to tier 2, is where you have Wentz, Breeze, and Cousins. And, maybe you throw I wouldn't throw Luck in there. Too much uncertainty there. But between Wentz, Breeze, and Cousins, I mean, I'll be perfectly happy with any of those three as well.
I wouldn't be happy with Wentz, like I said. Breeze,
well, you don't like it. But Breeze is going 7.02, and Cousins going 8.06. Kirk Cousins, what do you think about Kirk Cousins this year?
Nothing special.
Really?
I never really was a big fan of Kirk Cousins always to begin with. Don't get me wrong. I think he's just fine fantasy-wise, but I don't really think anything special.
I think he's going to throw the ball a ton in that offense, and he's got some weapons to throw the ball to.
I mean, he averaged last year, he averaged 17.4 fantasy points a game, Kirk Cousins. I mean, like I said, he's fine.
I mean, look, he's put up big numbers, and now can you say that this is the most talented group of receivers he's ever had?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be, you think he's going to be great to have as a quarterback, And it's funny when you talk about the Minnesota Vikings defense. You ever realize that I don't advise this? People talk about drafting 2 players from the same team. Listen, if both players, if you're going to put it the same numbers, it's fine. If you have Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell on the same team, which you're not going to get, but if you have that, that's great. They're going to put up great numbers. But what's funny is that you could, depending where you're drafting from, you could literally draft Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Kirk Cousins, Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, they're all sort of bunched together.
But it's you could draft them in every round, and they're all valuable starters.
Yeah, I think Thielen and Diggs are on pretty much every ADP board that I've seen. They're within 5 or 6 picks of each other.
Yeah, I know Thielen is in the 3rd round, and Diggs is going about the 4th round.
And then getting back to quarterbacks real quick. So you drop down to that 3rd tier. You have Luck, Garoppolo, Stanford, and Ryan.
Right.
So I mean, look. To me, it's a devalued position. So, wait on the quarterback.
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree with you. This depends on what you want to spend on it. Last year, Brady was going in the 3rd round on average ADPs, and he was listed as the quarterback too. Mm-hmm. And then he ended up being overall in a PPR format. He ended up being the 8th most valuable fantasy player. He ended up still as a top 10 fantasy player. He ended up with a total of 295.
And was he
points.
QB1 last year?
Was he? No. That was Russell Wilson.
Okay.
He ended up as QB3 last year, Tom Brady.
So,
but still, like, people got what they paid for when they used that pick.
Yeah,
on him.
absolutely.
Now, I know it was a weird start for him. It was kind of a very scary start for him last season, but they still got what they paid for out of him. So it's like, I totally agree with you to wait for quarterback because there's just so many quarterbacks that you could get. Like I said, I drafted Carson Wentz was going undrafted last year a lot of rounds. I drafted him at the end. My last pick.
He was your backup last year.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor was my starter. Carson Wentz was my very last pick.
It's kind of nuts when you think about it.
It is. He was my very last pick last year. And then I ended up making a terrible trade for him. You're welcome, Ryan, who is currently our league champion. And you talk about I traded Carson Wentz. But yeah, so like we already spoke a little bit already about Cam Newton. You're a big fan of him. I'm a big fan of Cam Newton.
I just think I'm a big fan because there's value in where he's going.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But also because of the fact I just feel because of so many weapons he has. Now, I'm not a big firm believer so much in Norv Turner, but last time Norv Turner had this much of a great quarterback was when he was the head coach of the San Diego Chargers.
Norv Turner could do no wrong.
Nerve. You're right today. You sure know you're drinking vodka?
It's a little hot in here, but it's good.
Mass. Yeah, but when Norv Turner's offense, like when he was the head coach of San Diego Chargers, he had Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers on average during that span was ending up as quarterback 10. Yeah. On average, he was ending like that. So it's like, and he finished within the top 10 4 out of the 6 years. So. But it's just the weapons he has. He has Christian McCaffrey, he has DJ Moore, has Devin Funches, Ted Ginn, his best friend Greg Olsen is back. And don't forget about C.J. Anderson. I know C.J. Anderson is not an attractive name at all. Yeah. But still, he's averaging about 36 targets a season in his career. And, except his first year because he didn't play that much. But except his first year, he's averaging 36 targets a season. And he hauls in 25 catches per year. So out of those 36 catches, he catches 25 of those. He can still be a valuable pass catcher. And not for nothing, they lost Andrew Norwell to protect them a little. But he's so dangerous on his feet already as it is. And they don't want him to run as much. But when you have a quarterback that is one of the greatest mobile quarterbacks, I think, since Michael Vick is probably the best mobile quarterback after Michael Vick. Do you agree? Yeah, up there,
absolutely,
not up there,
absolutely. Yeah.
So for him to be that dangerous with his feet and to have so many weapons to throw it to. Now, I think he's had more weapons than he's ever had his entire career, probably. I mean, it's an argument you can make with Steve Smith, but he's got, with the pass catching, running backs, and now the wide receivers, like DJ Moore, the first wide receiver taken from the draft. Yeah. All that, I love Cam Newton this year,
Yeah. He's taking an L week 1, though. Sorry, Cam.
Because he's playing Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another one, too, that I don't want to talk about, too. Yeah. I wanted to mention, how
about everyone's darling this year? Everyone's preseason darling this year.
Who?
Pat Mahomes.
I like Pat Mahomes.
Yeah?
I like him a lot.
He's going 11-01.
Yeah, I like Pat Mahomes a lot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I seen a lot of him in preseason last year, and he looked incredible. It was preseason, but yeah, a lot of people are big on him this year.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, he has a cannon for an arm.
Yeah, he's got the weapons.
Yeah, he doesn't cost much money at all this year either. Yeah. So it's like he's definitely one you could look at.
Would you be comfortable going into the season with him as your starting quarterback?
I would. See, that's one guy I wanted to talk about too is Marcus Mariota. A lot of people say I hear every year about Marcus Mariota. He's going to get better. He's going to get better. He's going to get better. I mean, his entire career, he's only averaged 16.3 fantasy points per game. That's not the greatest. I know Deion Lewis helps him, but that's it. I mean, the only person I really trust at Tennessee Titans offense, fantasy-wise, is Delaney Walker. I've always been a big Delaney Walker fan.
He's solid every year.
I do. I agree. Delaney Walker's always been extremely solid every year. But I'd rather have guys that are going around Mariota a little bit after and before him, like Alex Smith. I'd rather have Pat Mahomes. Even borderline, not for nothing, like Dak Prescott. I'd rather have than Marcus Mariota. That's kind of like where it ends for me. That's
the
kind
cutoff point.
Yeah, Dak Prescott.
Yeah. But Prescott's going around round 14.
It's going 1307.
1307. Yeah,
1307 as quarterback 20. Yeah, he's going right there at 20. But I just don't trust Mariota. Another guy we would definitely like to have too is Trubisky. The reason why Dak,
really?
Yeah, but the reason why Dak and Trubisky are kind of like the borderline is because Dak, not for nothing, as a quarterback, is more what he does, fantasy wise, is from his feet.
Right.
He's since Cam Newton, he's the only other quarterback to average 6 touchdowns per game. You know, so it's like Mariota I don't trust. Another sneaky, another place. See if you agree with me on this, and it's not being a homer. I do not recommend drafting Eli Manning. I do not also hate you taking him. Like if, for example, if you take like Andrew Luck or Carson Wentz, and it's for the same year every year, why you would draft Eli Manning? If you would draft Eli Manning as your quarterback, why is the only reason you would do so?
Because of the weapons around him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
and supposedly the improved offensive line.
It is a big improved offensive line.
But here's the thing with the offensive line, and just Giant fans should be a little cautious. It's the offensive line did improve, but it's not like you guys have a mobile quarterback back there. You know what I mean? So he's a statue. So even if the line went from bad to so, he it's still there's reason for concern there.
Well, of course there is, but like I said, it's been improved. It's been definitely improved. Barkley improves your offense from what we know so far. Improves your offense greatly. So you have Odell Beckham Jr., you have Sterling Shepard, and you have Cody Latimer, who's as your third, which is fine for your wide receiver 3. So, and Evan Ingram, who showed to be a great pass catcher. And I think he improves a bit because his pass drop percentages were big last year. His targets were up there, but he dropped a lot of passes last year. So I think it improves this year.
Yeah.
Pat Shurmur helps too because when he was with Tom Coughlin, on average, Eli Manning ends up as quarterback 13.
Right.
He fell way outside of that after Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And if you're looking at all the projections, I mean, look, Odell's projected to have a big year. Sterling Shepard's projected to have a good year. Barkley, I think, is projected to catch about 80 balls out of the backfield. Evan Ingram is projected to have a decent year out of the tight end slot. Somebody's got to throw them the ball, right?
Right, yeah.
To get those numbers, so...
and just one thing I wanted to touch on before I ask you the questions, because we got to end the show pretty soon, quick enough. Just let you know real quick. So one recommendation I do make, if you do draft Jameis Winston, I do recommend 2 quarterbacks that you should take that are going after Jameis Winston, which is not for nothing. He's going undrafted. Ryan Tannehill. It's mainly because of schedule. All right, Ryan Tannehill, because he's going against the Titans, the Jets, and the Raiders. They don't really scare me as far as the secondary. And also, another big recommendation, Case Keenum. Case Keenum's going against the Seahawks, Raiders, and Ravens. Also, he has so many weapons, Case Keenum. I think he's improved so much, as we all know he did last year. So those are 3 good quarterbacks to look at that are going after Jameis Winston. So if you want to draft Jameis Winston, I just recommend scheduling-wise, those are the 2 best quarterbacks to take, either Ryan Tannehill or Case Keenum, who go after him. Those are the 2 best questions to take. So we got to close out the show. So real quick, to close out the show, we always usually do with questions. We haven't done this last time. Do you have a question for me?
Random questions.
You have a random question for me?
Yeah, so keeping with the SpiderMan theme.
Nice.
Yeah. So who is the best SpiderMan in your opinion?
In the movies?
In the movies.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
I like Tom Holland.
That's the new Spider-Man.
Yeah, and kind of what I said about the Batman thing, what I said for you, is when you asked me Batman before, I felt Andrew Garfield was a great Spider-Man, and I felt that Tobey Maguire was a great Peter Parker. But Tom Holland, and because also they play him as the high school role, because he doesn't went with the college student kind of thing. They made him as the young kid that he was in the comics, because he was always a really young, like 15, 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, I like the kid in the movie.
Yeah, no, Tom Holland is doing a great job with that, and I'm really excited for the other ones to come out. I'm excited to see Jake Gyllenhaal play Mysterio once again. I know you have no idea what I'm talking about, but the new Spider-Man movie Far From Home coming up. This is the last question, so I'll ask you right before we close out the show, just real quick. How do you do it with this heat that's in New York in the suits?
Oh, it's the
how do you do it?
The business of real estate. I don't have a choice.
I don't know why you do it, but how do you do it?
Oh, a lot of water, a lot of air conditioning for sure. My office is Brick City.
Oh man! All right, so then Lee, do you even have our outro music or no? Did I set up? All right, cool. Don't bother about that, Lee. You can say it, Lee. You can say what's up to us, what party people. She's just cracking up over there. Oh man! All right, I got the outro music right here. I can play it from over here, Lee. All right, so you're right there. You can't see on YouTube. At least on YouTube, you can see that I'm looking over there and see this. Now you hear a little bit. All right, people who are listening have no idea what the hell, because I don't even know what the hell just happened that made you crack up. But anyhow, so moving on, party people. So let me lower that a little bit. Oh, you got that, Lee? All right, cool. So once again, party people, that wraps up the show today. Once again, if you have a question for us, hit us up on Instagram at BFB Podcast. Hit us up on Twitter at Podcast BFB. Subscribe, like.
Yes, the Lev Bell jersey.
Comment. Get yourself an autographed Le'Veon Bell jersey. This is real. This is the real deal. Shout out to all of our. Shout out to Progress that made this music for us. They're great progress. To my boy Angel the Skunk. Shout out to Moon for making the t-shirts. And shout out to all my people at Woodside. Charlie, I think you want to say right before we go?
No, it's been a great show, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. We got a great show coming up next time. We're gonna talk. We got more special guests coming up in the next one.
Yes.
All right. So party people, until next time. See you on this side or the other. Peace.
Bureau, take it easy. Next time.